Hey, welcome everyone to DM Talk. I'm Henry Knight. This is episode 3 of DM Talk. Tonight we have 3 topics, hot topics. We're going to talk about what I call off the road, what players do in your game. Do they side road? Do they control the game if you have a certain way of the story? We'll go over that in a second. But the second topic is homebrew creatures. What do you do? What do you like doing? And the third topic of tonight, what source books do you use for your campaign? Have you used any of the Dungeons and Dragons source book? Do you use anything out of anything? Sci-fi, whatever content you have, we'll talk about it tonight. Anyways, let's go over topic number 1. I call off the road. What is off the road? To me, off the road is you have a party of 6, 7, 8, or whatnot, and you're having a story. You're not railroading anyone. You're just having a story. And the story takes place, let's say, in a cave. In the cave, there's, stalactites, stalagmites, the ground is wet. And you see ahead of you, 3 areas that the players can go to. They can go in the middle, they can go to the left or the right. Now, of course, the players have free will. That's the whole point of role-playing. You never want to railroad them. You never want to control the events. But what do you do if you have it written where they go in the middle of the cave, the left, the west portion of the cave, and then the east? You have most of the writing you have done is in the middle of the cave, right? So all your players decide, hey, well, we're not gonna go to the right side of the cave or the middle of the cave. We're gonna go eastbound. We're gonna travel east. And you have it written where, per se, they are having, they meet kobolds or goblins or something like that. What do you do? If they just screw around, if they just look at everyone and they say, well, we're just going to camp out and hang out and bullshit, or we're just going to search. But you have nothing written. As a DM, it happens. As a DM, things happen. What do you do? Do you let them do it? Do you wait for a certain instance? Excuse me a moment. Thank you. Do you have the players walk around, and do whatever they want? What do you do as a DM? I know what I would do. Well, role play the moment. See, a lot of DMing is improv, and a lot of moments in Dungeons and Dragons in any role playing game is improv. You're gonna write. You could write as much as you can. And you could write a book or whatever it is, but sometimes you're gonna have to leave things open-ended. Maybe in your plot points, however you do it as a DM, you should write down, oh wait, party, they were searching in the east portion of the cave. In the west, they're going to go search, and you have a few things here and there. But you have to have some form of encounter, some form of something. I don't mean you have to. I'm not telling you what to do as a DM. You can do what you want as a DM. There's the Dungeon Master Guide you can go over. There's a bunch of things, a bunch of books you could look at. But as a DM, Those books are only guides. They're only guidelines. As a player, are you looking for that moment? What do I see, DM? Oh, I see some creature coming at you. The creature has a cloak. He has a sword at his side. You could hear the mud or something on the ground that is soft in the cave because it's wet, moist. It's the environment in that cave is making it where the individual you're seeing across the way is making noise of some kind. So what do you do as a player if they don't do anything? As DM, I mean, what do you do as DM when the players don't want to go near your encounter, or they say, "Oh, let's go the opposite direction"? You're going to have to improvise. Improvise 100%. How do you improvise? Well, let's say that they don't go in that direction. So instead, as they're fleeing, they hear multiple noises behind them, as if something or someone is following them. Multiple footsteps. It's a dark cave. The players, they weren't prepared. They didn't have torches or nothing. They have a mage that casts light up ahead, but they're too afraid to look behind them. And if they do, they can see individuals with red cloaks following them. Is it a cult? Is it just people traversing in the cave? Whatever it is. Whatever it is they must do, you have to improvise. In a story, in Dungeons and Dragons and in any role-playing game, if the players are bored, you have to improvise. Put something in there for them to do. Now, if they're role-playing and they're having a good time, it's up to you. That is perfect. That's what you want. You sit back and you let them do what they do. Don't force the issue. Don't speed up play because you want the next scene to happen. If you have a scene in your game that's going to end within a major combat, but yet your party sat in the cave and they thought about what to do next, the plans, what tools they have, what are they going to do? Those are the reasons that you should come back to role-playing, because the players are being smart about it and everyone's having a good time. And if they're having a good time, that's half the battle. And if they're scheming, and especially in the game they're trying to survive, instead of going to the next level or the next area where it can be dangerous, then end it. End it there and continue for the next episode. Or continue for the next part of your story. Because you don't want to prolong it and drag it out. Because if you do that, it'll destroy what you have going for you. I know that a lot of my players get mad. They really get mad when there's a huge combat scene. And we've been playing for 4.5 hours, almost 5 hours. And then they're battling it and they're having a great time. And I cut it right there. And they're like, whoa, you're cutting it right in combat. To me, that's perfect. Because what you're doing is you're keeping the suspense. And the action is high, the adrenaline is up, and everybody's having a great time. But when you cut it right there, in that scene, in that moment, yeah, everybody gets mad. But you know what? Wait till the next episode or wait for the next game. So what do? The first topic, for those of you who have just joined us, thank you, Twitch, thank you, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. What do you do if the players go a different direction? I call it off the road. And we're talking about the scenario. They're in a cave. Your players are going in different directions, and you have it Let's say there's 3 areas of the cave, the middle and the west and the east portion of the cave, and you have a lot of stuff going on in the middle part of the cave, but everybody goes everywhere else. So what do? I say you have to improvise, and that's where we're at right now. So to go further, here's another scenario. Let's say they go deeper in a cave, and you know in this part of the portion of the cave there's treasure, and there's 5 NPCs, and one of them is about to commit a crime, maybe backstabs one of your players, or do something nasty, whatever it is, and you have it in the eastern part of the cave. All the NPCs are there, but the players go somewhere else. So what do? You have to improvise. Improvising is the number one thing of being a DM. That's why you have notes, cue cards of different names, different races, tiefling, dragonborn, whatever. Because what happens is, if you get caught in a rut, oh, I want to talk to that tavern owner, or I want to talk to that guy hunched over. He's hurt. I want to help him. What's your name? Oh, I got a brain fart. You don't have to. You have it on a cue card. You have it on a piece of paper. Write it down before the game starts. Those are things that can help you out, because it may not be a big deal, but it will be. It will be. What are you going to call the NPC? Walmart? Oh, okay, Target. I mean, honestly, what are you going to call the NPC? I mean, you have to come up with something. Darren the Brave, Tremesius, whatever. You're going to have to come up with some form of name, something that the players can engage with. You don't want a lackluster of a game. And the only way that's going to happen for the game to be good is for you to improvise quickly and not just be there and go, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Well, you screwed up, but it's okay. We're all human. We're not robots. We're not AI. We are human. We make mistakes. And that's the fun part of being a DM. When you make a mistake and the players go, but it's fun because they know that everybody here in that table is there to have fun. And that's half the battle. Okay, so that's topic number 1. Let's go to topic number 2. Homebrew creatures. Those of you on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, let me know what you guys like homebrew wise. Do you homebrew your creatures? Do you go on a DM's book? Do you look up dragon? When I for campaign 1 or season 1 for my story, the big bad Tiamat, I homebrewed her. I didn't make her 100% the way Dungeons and Dragons has her. I made her more human. I made her more believable. Their version was flip-floppy. I didn't like that version. I wanted her sinister. I wanted her to be sinister. I wanted her to be evil, obviously, but I wanted her to be persuasive and also human. Because, yeah, she's a dragon, but she took the form of a human. And in order to relate, and I know what I read earlier about chromatic dragons and them being evil and how they don't give a crap about politics of humans and so forth. Yes, but according to my story, she was a major player in the story and the major villain. So I made her more human. The only way she could relate to not only the players and the world itself, she was from her realm, from the 9 hells, she was pushed into the realm of Dominulus, my world, my homebrew world. So there she caused havoc. But in order to do that, she had to change from being a dragon to human to more for people could for everyone. I'm sorry, I can't talk. So everybody can relate to her, okay? And then she could scheme and move and take everything little by little, and that's what she did. In fact, there was a point in the campaign where everyone chose her side. They all worked together because they had a greater villain to fight. And I thought that was great. I needed to challenge the players, and they did. They were challenged, and by her being good, well, wait a second, that's not Tiamat. Well, what do you think about homebrewing? Do you take, a character or a monster? Do you create your own monster? How are they? Is it a dragon? Is it a lizard folk? Is it a humanoid creation? Is it half alien, half human? Homebrew creatures are cool. I love doing them. In my campaign, I had a homebrew weapon. It was possessed by a demon. The demon was named Prometheus. And when it took over, it controlled everything. And there was a scene in the first part early on in the game where the sword spun and it changed the environment around them. So the players were there and they saw a small town. It was a village of dwarves. And in that village, everything changed. Everything changed. The sword spun and changed everything around them. And the great thing about it is the players were challenged by that. In fact, that was one of the most hated villains was Prometheus. There was a way of killing it, a way of defeating it, and they did later on in the campaign. And if you're interested, watch season 1 because I think it's really good. It's really good, and I think y'all should stay with us because we got more coming. But continuing the homebrew, I homebrewed that whole thing. I took the very definition of what a demon is, devil, whatnot, and changed that aspect of it and said, okay, well, what if the demon possessed the sword? And I did that, and it was pretty cool. In fact, I had one of the characters held the sword for a while, and then later on, it just came about and came to life. And he was a pain in the ass. But homebrew characters are fun. I love doing it. You can go on D&D Beyond and create a homebrew character, create what you want, and they're a lot of fun. They're very engaging. Life in your homebrew characters is the number one thing. What are you gonna do? After you make it, you put the stats in. They got spells, they got weapons, all that stuff. Or if it's a creature, do they have 4 arms? Do they have protruding horns on the forehead? Do they have beady eyes? Whatever. Description is the number one thing. To me, it is. It's the element of description. You go in there and describe. And it brings a lot to the table. Dynamic is fantastic. When you describe your NPC, your homebrew creature for the very first time, it really brings a lot to the table. And I love doing it. Season 2 will have a lot of homebrew characters and a lot of homebrew creatures. I just said I love doing it. So it's a lot of work for me, but it's great. And as a DM, I think that's a part of DMing, which I love, is creating your own creatures. It's great to have a handbook, a manual that has thousands of creatures. And they're great. You can get those ideas, read them, and add to yours. Have you ever done that? Have you ever said, okay, I want to go look up a goblin, and I want to take this goblin and I want to make him a giant goblin. You know, I want to make him a goblin that could fly, that could change shape, that whatever. You know, those things are fun. That makes Dungeons and Dragons your world. It makes it different from Forgotten Realms. It makes it different from Dragonlance. It's your world. It is now your world. You're creating. And to me, when you homebrew a creature, an NPC, your world, it's just that it's better than just a normal, oh, you know, I'm fighting a lizard folk, a goblin, an orc, I'm going in town and there's a band of people, yada yada yada. But what if you go to town and you see this monstrosity? But this is very different. So that way, if you're used to playing D&D, you're going to be like, it could be a category of this creature. I'm going to use my knowledge of the game and try to remember what type of creature it is. Well, like I said before, we're not going to talk about anything negative tonight. What I said before, when you do stuff like that, that's fine. It challenges me. But understand that when you do something homebrew, you're not going to know what the creature does until you fight it, until you experience it first level. What is it that you guys like about homebrew? Or maybe you don't. Maybe you say, oh, bullshit, I don't like homebrew at all. I want to do my own thing. I want to buy the book. I want to get every monster. I am fighting a basilisk. I am fighting a goblin. I am fighting an orc. I want to stay away from homebrew. Tell me what you think. Right there in the chat. Let me know what you all think. Let's go to the next topic. This is source books. And this kind of goes in with homebrew creatures. Do you guys use source books? Do you use... let's see here. Let me go back here. Do you use Planescape's Adventure? Do you use that? Spelljammer. I know that's a different world, but you guys use that? Anything by Call of Netherdeep, Curse of Strahd, those books. Have any of you ever used them? I know there's a lot of people that I know at work and friends of mine that they've played Curse of Strahd. Curse of Strahd is a great book to use, and it's a stellar campaign that you can use that can intensify your game. There's a lot of books in D&D Beyond that you can look and check out that are great. Then there's some that are pretty shitty too. But do you guys use them? I gain knowledge from them. I use a lot of what they have on there, and I say, okay, I might change that and use it in my own way. That's what I like doing. Again, I love doing things homebrew. And let's take, for example, let's see here. Okay, for example, the Candlekeep Mysteries, an anthology of 17 mystery-themed adventures of the world's greatest role-playing game. All right, so you have ideas. It gives you beginning adventures, a conclusion for that adventure. Candlekeep. Entering Candlekeep. Let's see. The required entrance of fee for admission into Candlekeep is a work of writing not already collected. Those who show up at the gates with such a gift are kindly but firmly turned away. So you have your source books. You have your themes. You have your books that can help you. Because you know what? Not all the time as a DM, you're going to homebrew and come out of your head every second, every minute, every hour. You get tired. It happens. That's why my limit is 4.5 hours. Anything after 4.5 hours, my brain starts to suffer. you're like, oh, I'd love to play for 5, 6, whatnot hours, but that's a long time. Players get tired and so forth. Do you like doing that? Let me know in the chat. There is, let's see. I think I like, Candlekeep is cool. Let me go to sources. All right, you got Vol's Guide to Monsters. We know what that is. You have a lot of sources. Strickhaven. I love Strickhaven. Strickhaven has a great story. Strickhaven is on its own. You can use it for your games or use it separately. I used it in the first part of the campaign, and I did this episode called The Mansion, and the episode was good, but did they finish it? No. I made some mistakes as DM, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You learn from those things. But as a DM, when you have your players, you have this scenario, and the scenario is this: they're in a room, and you have written where, and this goes with homebrew. You have all these traps, and a lot of them were only going a certain area. They weren't going in the upper portions of the mansion. They weren't going in the other areas of the mansion. They just decided to stay on the first level. And that happens. That happens. There are tricks that you can use as a DM to tall tale signs in a room. You could bring your players from one room to another. But that is going far beyond for the third topic. In the third topic, we were talking about source books. What do you guys use source books in your campaign? I mean, obviously we all have source books, but do you use adventures? The adventures, they have a lot here that you can use. They got the Baldur's Gate, Glory of Giants. They've got a little Planescape, as I said before. And if you like using the Deck of Many Things, the Book of Many Things is here as well that you can use. I used Tyranny of Dragons just to get an idea on Tiamat. And just to give you an example, Tiamat, very powerful. But again, very bland. You have her story. And her story is good. But I wanted to humanize her. Yeah. People are going to say, hey, she's a dragon. Why do it? I wanted to change it. As a writer, I wanted to do something different. And I did. And it was enjoyable. It was fun. But tonight's 3 topics were off the road. Homebrew creatures, and then source books. And tonight, we're also going to talk about whatever anyone wants to talk about. We want to talk about DMing. We want to talk about playing characters. We want to talk about any other role-playing game. We could talk about anything tonight. But I want to let you know that Dungeons & Dragons is not the only role-playing game. There are a lot of role-playing games out there that you can use fantasy-wise. But Dungeons & Dragons, right now we have the game, different streaming services out there. There is a lot of content that's Dungeons & Dragons, and a lot of content from other sources that you guys can look at. Now, do I suggest that this is the only game? No. You can do what you want. But I will tell you this. This talk tonight, DM talk, is just about that. To talk about anything freely, to talk about gaming, Dungeons and Dragons, anything. And I love talking because I just like talking. And sometimes it's redundant, but other times it's not. But tonight we're going to keep it a little short. I will see you for episode 4. And again, please comment. Let me know what you think about homebrew. Let me know what you think about what books do you guys use for your table. What source books do you use? For your adventures. Do you use Planescape? Have you used the deck of many things in your games? Let me know. Do you have issues as a DM? Your players go somewhere else and you want them to stay on track. Do you railroad? I know that's a big topic. Railroading is a big topic. Do you railroad? Let me know what you guys think. Railroading is a big topic, and next episode I'll talk about it more about that. Every DM does it. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You can do it in little increments, but it's very common, just like min-maxing and so forth. But this episode, I wasn't going to go into any negative things. I wanted to talk about positive things and what you guys can do as DM, like keeping your players on track in the game. You have to be on top of it as DM. You have to improvise, and so forth. Hey, Tennessee Volunteer 85, what's up? XP, there you go. All right. XP versus my preference. You know what? Season 2, we're going to go with XP. I like Milestone. I like Milestone. What's up, Tennessee Volunteer 85? Milestone is very cool. But Season 2, we're going to go XP. It's a lot of work for a DM. And all you out there, you have XP. Have your players help you. I want to have my players help me with XP. So at the end of the episode, I'm going to give XP out. And one player is going to keep track of experience. And another player is going to keep track of magic items and so forth. We all do it as a group. But Milestone is easier. And you can do Milestone as checkpoints. The players go to each checkpoint, then they go and get their levels. What do you like, Tennessee Volunteer 85? TV 85, what do you like? Do you like XP or Milestone? What do you like? Anyone else? Let me know what you like, Milestone or XP. There's advantages to both, really. Milestone, the big advantage is it's easier on the DM because you have those checkpoints and you don't have to worry about, okay, well, what are you saying? Oh, so you like XP. All right, gotcha. XP is for a player. XP, they conquered. They beat that creature. Let me ask you guys a question out there. XP, do you give everyone all the XPs? For example, let's say half your party is going to go shop and the other half goes and fights a dragon. So you have a party of 8. 4 of them are fighting a dragon and the other 4 are shopping. Should everyone get equal amount of XP? Or should 4 get the full experience and the other half of the party only get half or a certain amount of experience? What do you guys think? You think it's fair for everyone to get a full XP? Let me know what you guys think. Yes, XP can be a little cumbersome, but is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. I did both. I tend to be on the milestone side, but XP, whether you're fighting, you're a level 1, you're fighting a CR1 creature, or lower, it's fun. Characters kind of go all over. Oh, so they missed out. Okay, I gotcha. So you're saying, TV85, you're saying that those members that are going to shop and the others are going to fight, the ones that are shopping shouldn't get any experience, right? Let's deal with delay. Got a little bit of a delay. It's okay. And you're right. Missing out is one thing. XP can be tricky. Let's say that, again, I said a party of 8. All 8 members are fighting a full-blown dragon. We just talked about a dragon, a black dragon in Creatures of the Realm. We talked about how powerful they are. Oh, bad lag? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. Not getting any lag on my end. But, let's see here. All right, but let's say that all eight players are fighting Black Dragon, and then they suffer. They go through hell beating that dragon. So everyone gets that experience. Depending on what dragon it is, if you're fighting an ancient Black Dragon, you're going to get a lot of experience. You're looking at a high CR in comparison to other dragons, young dragon, and then we went over the wormlings and so forth. Now, when you do experience, let me ask you, Tennessee Volunteer 85, do you, if somebody doesn't show up per se in your game, do you give them half experience, or do you, as a DM, just give them the full? Sorry, we're getting a little bit of a lag tonight. My internet's good. Let me see here. Okay, you guys are experiencing buffering, so sorry about that. But either way, hopefully you guys just can tell me what you guys feel on the chat, and we'll talk it over next time. I'll bring up these the subject matter next time on DM Talk, and next time we'll talk about experience. That's a great topic. We'll talk about experience. We'll talk. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I know there is a delay. All right. All right. There. That's. Anyways, if the character is played, then the character gets experience. Okay. So you're saying if everybody there, if all the characters are playing, they get experience. If they're not playing, they don't get experience. That is, that is perfect. That is 100%. I agree with that. I agree that if a player doesn't show up, they don't get experience. It's okay to do that. There's nothing wrong. And as a DM, you make that call at your table. And in a session 0, there are going to be people that are going to disagree with you. But remember, it's your call, it's your table, and just remember, you're all there having fun. And whether there's going to be disagreements or not, you can just meet halfway. And if everybody says, hey, you know what? It's kind of shitty that I'm not going to get experience, then say, I'll tell you what, I'll give you some experience if you don't show up. But you don't show up meaning an actual emergency or whatnot. But that happens. Life happens. We all know life happens. And sometimes it gets out of the ordinary. It just gets crazy. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Tennessee Volunteer 85, thank you very much again. Let me say thank you here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for showing up. Support, please subscribe, share. Let everyone know about Playerole. I've got 3 shows. I've got DM Talk, Creatures of the Realm, and I've got Campaign 2, Season 2 coming out May 18th. May 18th, 8 p.m. Central. Okay, all right. So you let other people play the character if you can't show up. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I do that a lot too. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week on DM Talk and Creatures of the Realm. I'm going to do Creatures of the Realm DM Talk for a little bit until May 18th, and that's why I'm giving the guys a break. I'm giving the guys a break because life happens. So we're going to hit it hard on May 18th. Please subscribe. Let us know. Show us your love. We got some good content coming for you. Good night.